world of warships, Dry Dock. Midway is a true legend in the history of the US Navy. During her 47 years of service, this ship underwent 2 extensive modernizations that not only drastically altered her combat capabilities, but also transformed her appearance. The development began in 1940s, when the ship size limitations imposed by international naval treaties were no longer in effect. This immediately placed the new design on par with prominent beasts. The US Navy even had to come up with a new classification code specifically for this ship, CVB, where B stood for battle. The loaded displacement of the series lead ship amounted to 59,900 tons. Her overall length was 295 meters, her width was 41.5 meters, and her draft was 10.5 meters. For this reason, while the first supercarrier was built on the stocks, the following 2 were constructed in dry docks, due to construction challenges. However, such dimensions were justified by the design specifications. There was a need for protection against the 203mm main battery guns mounted on Japanese heavy cruisers. To satisfy this, Midway was equipped with the thickest armor belt in the history of aircraft carriers, 193mm. However, this was true only for the port side. On the starboard, the thickness had to be reduced to 178mm to make up for the weight of the island. At the ends of the belt, there were 160mm transverse bulkheads. The conning tower and steering gears were also armored. US designers incorporated 87mm thick horizontal armor for the new ship's flight deck, along with 50mm thick armor for the hangar and lower decks. Midway also had more extensive anti-torpedo protection. The unconventional arrangement of the propulsion unit made the aircraft less susceptible to sinking. Her 12 watertight boiler rooms were located along the sides, providing protection against underwater explosions for the 2 engine rooms situated between them. Notably, her 215,000 horsepower propulsion unit allowed Midway, despite her immense size, to quickly accelerate to the design speed of 33 knots and maintain it for a long time. Midway was designed to carry 136 planes, 64 Corsair fighters, the same number of Helldiver dive bombers, and 8 Hellcat night fighters. Her anti-air defenses were unique. Single mounts housed 18 powerful 127mm guns. They were supported by 21 quadruple 40mm Bofors guns and 28 20mm Oerlikon guns. It took 23 months from the laying down of the ship to her commissioning. However, the war had already ended when it finally happened. The rapid development of jet aircraft called for radically new design specifications, rendering Midway and her sister ships essentially outdated right away. Their further service in the US Navy required a lot of money and effort, but that's a story for another day. In World of Warships, US Tier 10 aircraft carrier Midway has been reproduced in her initial historical state at the time of her commissioning in 1945.